What's going on? So in this video, I'm gonna go over how my life has changed ever since I stopped smoking weed. Now, before you come for me asking, why are you wearing a do-rag? It's because I came out of the shower, I washed my hair, and I wanna put it on so it dries fast, okay? That's why I got a do-rag on. Now let's get back to the regularly scheduled programming. So now, how has my life changed after quitting smoking weed? Now, this traces back all the way to high school, okay? Me and the homies, we used to smoke a lot of weed. Matter of fact, we used to smoke weed on our lunch break, okay? And I went to a Christian school. It's actually embarrassing looking back, but we used to literally get high at the park. We would all be sharing like a little pipe, okay? We'd all share a pipe, pass it around in a circle, and we would get high and we'd go back to class. Matter of fact, I remember distinctly there was a season or a semester where we would actually go to religion class after getting high. Like, yo, it's insane. It's insane looking back. I was a follower of Jesus. I'm embarrassed by my behavior at that time. But anyway, so that was kind of the reality. And, then that led to me smoking by myself. I would buy quarters of weed and I would just smoke. I was living in a basement apartment, I was living in like a basement, renting out a room in there. At that time, this was in the beginning of university, always high. And, that just continued on throughout my late teens. And then even into my early 20s, I was still smoking weed, okay? And I actually remember a distinct moment where I was super high and I'm looking at the grass, the clouds, and I'm like, dang, I'm gonna die high. I'm probably gonna be high when that happens, right? And I remember feeling fear. Now, did I quit smoking weed at that point? No, I didn't, right? I'll be honest with you. But I remember at that time, I was like really trying to like grow a business. I shouldn't even say grow a business. I was trying to start a business, but I was always high. So it made me very lazy, okay? It made me very lazy. So one of the first things that I noticed when I stopped smoking weed, which was about 7 years ago. About 7 years ago, I officially stopped. I'm 31 now, 30, 29, 27, 65. Yeah. So one of the things I noticed was clarity. All right. Once I stopped smoking weed, I had more clarity, right? My mind wasn't as foggy. I knew what I had to do and I did it. Most importantly, I did it. A lot of people say that they have their best ideas when they're high, but the problem is when you're high, there's no execution. You're not taking action on your goals, right? You need to lose 10 pounds, 20, 50 pounds, right? And you're like, oh my gosh, if I start doing this and that, I'll lose the weight. Or, you want to start a business and you're like, oh my gosh, if I do this and this, I can, have a company. But the problem is you're high. So all those little this and this that you need to do, this and this ain't going to get done because you are high. Right? So that's the one thing, was clarity and the ability to execute. So I'm going to put clarity plus execution. So I was able to start taking action on that which I was clear about. So they go in tandem. All right. Now, the other thing that I noticed when I used to smoke weed is that I had no self-control whatsoever. Matter of fact, I had my wedding a few months back. And one of my groomsmen, he was like, yo, remember when you did that like Krispy Kreme diet? No, it wasn't a Krispy Kreme diet. It was that I was always so high that I could not control myself and I had to eat a dozen Krispy Kreme donuts. I don't know if I did that over the span of a day or 2 days, but either way, that was a dozen too many, right? So I had no self-control. Even though at that time, I was into fitness, I was into working out, right? I was swole at the time. I was bigger, right? But I probably had way more body fat. Not probably, definitely, right? Simply because of the fact that I had no self-control. I had no self-control. So you may be dealing with that. You may be someone right now that's like, man, I want to get fit. I want to get in shape. But, I'm getting high and I have no self-control because of that. Now, that's the beautiful thing. When you can isolate a reason why you don't have self-control, then you just take that reason and you pop it. You get rid of it. You make it non-effectual in your life anymore, right? The Bible says, make no provision for the flesh. Don't give it any energy. Don't give it no power whatsoever. That is the key to making change. So Number two, I'm gonna say that I started developing more self-control. All right. Another thing, when I used to smoke weed, I was cold, callous. Like, I could not imagine. Like, right now, I'm married. All right, I'm in an amazing marriage. I love my wife, and I realized that I did not have the capacity when I used to smoke weed to really love and to connect. I could not connect. I was always anxious. I was always in my head. I felt like my world was just always caving in. And it's funny because we use weed as an escape to try to feel better or maybe not feel at all, but it actually, it's an escape into a dungeon. And typically when you're escaping something, right, people escape from jail, they escape from a dungeon, they escape from entrapment. But the problem is you escape one prison, which may be your reality, for another prison, right? We do not want that. We want to be free, right? The Bible says who the Son sets free is free indeed. We want to be free. We don't want to be trapped. Now, the reason I brought up my wife and being married and having a loving relationship is because I was not able to do that when I was high. I was not able to connect. Like I said, I was just anxious. I could not look people in the eye. Like, my body couldn't even relax. I just felt like I was fidgeting and, you know, my eyes were not as sharp. I just was not somebody that could connect easily. And that was something that actually started to change. So I realized that it wasn't because of something wrong with me. It was because I was literally smoking weed. It's a drug, right? People will try to justify it all day, every day, but listen, it is a drug and it is destroying your future. So the third thing was I noticed my ability to connect. I'm becoming able to connect. All right. And then, you know, I could talk about all the other practical things like my sleep improved. Like I said, I ate better, more self-control. Yeah, like those are obvious. You know, your eyes look brighter, right? You're not like, ugh, like all dopey looking and red-eyed, right? You look more healthy. Now, another thing that I noticed, I really noticed this when I stopped smoking weed, it was that the world became a lot more bright. Now, I have other reasons in my mind that I could kind of bring to the table that contribute to that, but one thing for sure was when I stopped smoking weed. Like, when I used to smoke weed a lot, the world looked dull. You may say, no, it looks more lively when you're high. No. The world started to look more dull, and I felt isolated in a sense. But once I stopped smoking weed, the world became colorful. The world became vibrant. My life became vibrant. Everything just was so much better, right? It's just an enjoyable experience to be sober, right? That's what the Bible says, be sober and vigilant, for your enemy, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. Yeah, the enemy is seeking to devour somebody, right? I don't want that to be me. And I'm sure you don't want that to be you, right? So we need to be sober so that we don't get devoured. He's looking for somebody, right? I don't want it to be you. So just to recap, the 4 things I noticed: more clarity plus execution on that which I'm clear on. Self-control, okay? I became more self-controlled after smoking weed. Not lazy, not sloth, but just focused and disciplined. Number 3, able to connect better. Not anxious socially, not feeling empathetic, right? That's a big one right there. You need to have radical empathy in order to connect with people, because people don't care about what you know or who you are. They care more about what you can do for them, how you can help them, and how much you care about them. So if you can connect, dang, floodgates open. And then number 4, I didn't even write it down. And then finally, the world became brighter. All right, now a bonus one I'm gonna give you is you're gonna save money, dinero, cheddar, mozzarella, guap. You're gonna save the money. I mean, people spend thousands, if not tens of thousands on weed every year, and that doesn't need to be you. Because you're destroying yourself and you're spending money. You're destroying your financial future, your kids, your wife, your spouse, whomever, right? Let's not let that happen, all right? Make sure to subscribe to the channel so I can make more of these videos. Give it a like, and I'll see you in the next one, all right? Peace.